You know that feeling when you put on an old leather jacket that you have not worn in years, and it just fits perfectly? That is exactly what happens the moment you slide into the driver's seat of a BMW E36. It is not just a car. It is a time capsule from an era when engineers, not marketing departments, were running the show in Munich. If you look at the modern roads today, everything looks angry. Massive grills, sharp aggressive lines, and cars that are so big they barely fit in a standard parking spot. But then you see an E36 gliding down the street, and it has this understated elegance, that famous dolphin shape that changed everything for the 3 Series. Back in the early 1990s, when this car replaced the boxy E30, people were actually shocked. They thought BMW had lost its mind by putting glass over the headlights and smoothing out all the edges. But history has proven that this was the moment the sports sedan truly grew up. Let's talk about why we miss this era so painfully much. It starts with visibility. When you sit in a modern car, the beltline is up to your chin and the pillars are so thick you could hide a semi-truck behind them. In the E36, the cowl is low, the pillars are thin, and the greenhouse is airy. You can actually see the hood of the car you are driving, which helps you place it on the road with millimeter precision. And placing it on the road is what this car is all about. The steering feel in these cars is something that has been completely lost in the transition to electric power steering. The E36 uses a hydraulic rack that is constantly talking to your fingertips. You run over a coin? You feel it. You hit a patch of gravel mid-corner? The steering weight changes instantly to warn you. It is a two-way conversation between you and the machine, whereas modern cars just feel like you are playing a video game with a really expensive controller. Under the hood lies the heart of the legend, the inline-six. Whether you are driving a 325i from the early years, or the torquier 328i from the late 90s, that M50 or M52 engine is silky smooth. It does not just make noise, it makes music. It has this metallic, mechanical turbine-like sound that screams all the way to redline. And unlike modern turbocharged engines that give you all the power at 2000 RPM and then die out, these naturally aspirated engines beg you to rev them. You have to work for the power, and that makes driving engaging. You are constantly shifting that 5-speed manual gearbox, which, by the way, has a rubbery but precise throw that is uniquely BMW. We also have to talk about the interior, specifically the driver-focused cockpit. The center console is literally angled toward the driver. It is a subtle design choice that says to your passenger, sorry, this is not about you, this is about the driving experience. Sure, we can admit that the build quality of the interior was not exactly built for the apocalypse. We all know about the door panels that bubble up like they are allergic to the glue, and the glove box that eventually decides to just hang open forever. But we forgive these flaws because the ergonomics are spot on. Everything falls exactly where your hand expects it to be. The pedals are spaced perfectly for heel-and-toe downshifting without you having to twist your ankle in weird angles. Then, there is the M3 version. If you are lucky enough to drive a clean E36 M3, specifically the European spec with the individual throttle bodies, you are driving one of the best handling cars ever made. But even the US spec, which some people complain was watered down, is a torque monster that makes for an incredible street car. The balance of the chassis is 50-50, perfectly distributed. You can rotate the car with the throttle just as easily as you can with the steering wheel. It is playful, forgiving, and communicative. Today, a modern 3 Series is faster, safer, and more efficient, but it is also numb. It isolates you from the world. The E36 invites the world in. It lets you hear the wind, feel the road texture, and smell the hot oil and brakes after a spirited drive. It requires your attention. You cannot just zone out and let the lane keep assist drive for you because those systems do not exist here. It is just you, 3 pedals, a steering wheel, and physics. That is why the prices are skyrocketing. People are realizing that we peaked in the 90s. We had just enough technology to make the cars reliable and fast, like fuel injection and ABS, but not enough technology to ruin the connection between man and machine. If you have one, hold on to it. If you want one, buy it now before they all turn into rust or race cars. Because once you experience that analog connection, everything else just feels like an appliance. It is the definitive ultimate driving machine, and we miss it every single day.